Pirate Trials, Their Dastardly Deeds and Last Words, written by Ken Rossignol, narrated by Jack Chekijian. Introduction. The language found in the accounts of the various trials of pirates in the courts of Scotland, England, and the United States has been modernized to a slight extent in the interest of allowing the reader to capture the flavor of those bloody times, yet be able to understand the proceedings. This editing and brief explanations have been held to a minimum so as not to disturb the historical context. This book is based on information and actual transcripts from these trials, as well as accounts given and recorded with the courts of Scotland, England, and the United States of America. Ho, 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 and a bottle of rum. Chief Justice Marshall sits in on case of murder and piracy. The fourth Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, nominated by President John Adams in the final months of his presidency following his defeat for re-election to Thomas Jefferson, Marshall's leadership on the court established the court as an equal branch of government to the executive and Congress. He became the longest-serving Chief Justice, serving 34 years from 1801 to 1835, when he died at the age of 79. Chief Justice Marshall authored landmark decisions on the court, Marbury v. Madison, involving the court's authority to expound constitutional law and exercise judicial review, and to declare laws made by Congress unconstitutional, thereby holding the Constitution as the law of the land. McCulloch v. Maryland, the authority of the federal government to establish a national bank. Gibbons v. Ogden, to regulate interstate commerce. Those cases were decided prior to Chief Justice Marshall sitting on the trial of the 3 Spaniards charged with piracy and murder in the matter of the brig Crawford held in July of 1827. One of Chief Justice Marshall's rulings in the Maryland case reverberates today in political discourse. Letting Maryland tax the bank would give one state the power to destroy it. That wasn't what the American people intended, Marshall says, when they made the Constitution supreme. Chapter 1. The Last Sorrowful Groans and Lamentations. Of particular note to the records of this pirate trial is the confession of the miscreants. It appears that not only did much of England and Scotland speak and write like Shakespeare, but these 2 pirates knew what their fate would be, and that their last words would be all they were leaving behind in this world, and therefore wanted to make them count. The records show that up to 50,000 people attended their execution. High Court of Admiralty at Edinburgh, 26th of November, 1821. 2 seamen are to be executed on the 2nd of January, 1822, at Leith Shore for murder and piracy, with an account of their present behavior in Edinburgh jail. To be hanged for piracy and murder: Peter Heman, mate of the schooner Jane of Gibraltar; Francois Gautier, cook of the Jane of Gibraltar, convicted of murdering the captain and steersman, convicted of robbing the Jane of Gibraltar on the 29th of November, 1821. 2 seamen on trial for murder and piracy. The schooner Jane of Gibraltar, belonging to a Jew in Gibraltar, sailed for Brazil on May 19, 1821, with 8 barrels of dollars. At the point the ship was at sea for 17 days, the cook and mate killed the captain, Thomas Johnson, and the steersman, James Patterson. The mate shot the captain in the head while he was in his bed in his cabin. The captain came down on the deck, holding his head. The plot thickens. The captain was knocked down by the cook with a musket. The mate was fighting with the steersman, who was killed, and both bodies thrown overboard. Heman, 35 years old, and Gautier, 23, tried to suffocate the rest of the crew with smoke after nailing the hatch shut. They failed. The two then forced the crew to swear an oath of secrecy by promising a share of money. Landed at Scotland and were paid $6,300 each, the killers and each of the crew. Guilty pleas turned to confessions and laments. The shipboy, Andrew Camelier, escaped and alerted authorities, who then committed the two pirates to prison. Heman and Gautier pleaded not guilty, but later made full confessions. A rhyme to their crime. O pitying reader, lend an ear unto our lament. It will make tears of sorrow fast from every eye to vent. In Edinburgh jail's dismal cell, in heavy irons we lie. The awful thoughts that we do feel make us afraid to die. Unhappy men, been well for us that we had never been born. We might have escaped a shameful death. We took our captain's life away, the poor steersman's life likewise. Their bloody forms are forever straight before our eyes. Their corpses we did heave overboard before life was extinct. Hark, is not the dying groan that made our flesh to shrink? Oh, why did we to Satan listen? Why not our minds control? What good can dollars do to us? Alas, we've lost our souls. Our wives and children we must leave on the wide world to roam, and every stranger passing by will say there is a murderer's son. May God on high our prayers receive, and take mercy on our souls. And when we on the gallows hang, may you take warning all.